Greetings people of YouTube, and today I am incredibly excited to be bringing you all my review of the brand new Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Cyberverse Universe Windblade. This figure could not come at a more perfect time because I literally just finished watching Cyberverse a couple of days before I found this figure. In short, I really enjoyed Transformers Cyberverse. Good characters, lots of fun action, and it's just exciting. And what about Windblade herself here? Well, Windblade is a female Transformer derived from the planet Caminus. She is a city speaker, which means she can talk to frickin' giants. And her design takes cues from that of Japanese geishas. I quite liked Windblade in Cyberverse, and I'm really excited to open this figure up, so why don't we just take a closer look at her packaging first. Awesome artwork of her jet mode there. As always, you get a window view of the figure itself. On this side, you get an awesome artwork of Windblade's face and the entirety of Windblade's body right there. At the back, you can see some product shots and no Evil Fusion gimmick would be. On this side, you can see the amazing looking Legacy United artwork. Gosh, I really want that Magmatron. At the top, you can see the Transformers Legacy United title card. And at the bottom is, of course, also one thing to note, one thing that I really like about this packaging, it feels a lot firmer than, say, your Legacy Evolution packaging. Here's my shrapnel packaging. I push it and doesn't bend as much as this, which, oh my goodness. Alright, I'm incredibly excited, so why don't we just open her up? Again, that sounds pretty horrible out of context. And here's the Transformers Legacy United Windblade figure out of her packaging. Gotta say, this figure is really fun to mess around with. Not 100% accurate to her appearance in Transformers Cyberverse, but I still think she looks cool. She looks like Windblade. It's just a really neat deluxe class figure. And to elaborate on why she's neat, why don't we just take a closer look at her accessories. Windblade comes with her head fan and her sword. Here's a nice close look at her head fan, and it looks quite great up close. Painted in a really nice and vibrant coat with a lot of sculpted in details. You can plug it into her hands and that can be used as a weapon, and that doesn't look too bad, but you gotta be careful of paint chipping. As cool as that display looks, I and a lot of other people will most likely just turn her around. Ignore the back cable. At the back of her head there is a slot that will be filled in by this black tab here. Yeah. And my goodness, she looks great like this. Really hammers home the geisha inspired design. It is a bit hard to remove, so if you want to do that, just please be careful. But the best accessory that this figure came with is undoubtedly this beautiful looking sword. I don't know if this is supposed to be a regular sword or an actual katana, but it looks great nonetheless. Not quite accurate to how we see this sword in the Cyberverse cartoon, but it's a cool take on its own in my opinion. Plug it into her hands and she's ready to slice and dice Decepticons left and right, including Bludgeon. And here it is next to Bludgeon's sword if you're curious. But if you don't want to display this figure while she's holding her sword, you can take it to her hips and there's a port there, which this transparent peg will peg in really nicely into. I guess that'll do. And even this still looks really great. Gives her an almost wandering samurai look, which looks pretty badass. And due to her pretty good posability, you can pose her as if she's about to draw her sword, which is so cool in a proper pose. So accessory wise, she does not come with a lot, but what she does come with are really cool. You know what else is really cool? Well, this figure itself, but if you really want to know why I think she's cool, why don't we just take a closer look at her details. And comparing Windblade here to this one render that I found of Cyberverse Windblade, I'm actually quite surprised by how much they nailed this design for a stylized appearance. At first I thought she was a bit too stylized, but now I really do think that this is a perfect balance of old and new. I honestly see this as the Cyberverse Windblade design with the Titan's Return Windblade build. I mean, just look at it, her chest, her shoulder pads, she really looks like she lifts. And these shoulder pads, in my opinion, are just a bit too big. I really wish they could have been a bit smaller. And you know what else is big about this figure? Her backpack. Admittedly, this really doesn't look the best. Oh my gosh, that's so big. But fortunately, there are a couple of ways that you can mitigate this backpack. First, and the way that I will use for my display, is if we take this and split it in half and disperse it onto the back of her wings. Doesn't look perfect, but from the front it does look quite a bit better. And yeah, this is more than likely how I will display her on my shelf. But if I'm only taking pictures of her, this backpack is on a mushroom peg at the base here, so you can just detach that, which takes a little bit of might. Oh, and there you go, clean back. That's really cool. Maybe a bit parts formery for some people, but I do like that they give you the option to do that. And she just looks a lot cooler like this, doesn't she? Though I would really like them to take this a step further and make the wings removable, because in the show she didn't have these wings all the time. She retracts them quite a lot. But if I was given the option, I will definitely display her with her wings on, so it's not a big problem for me. Putting back on this backpack and taking a nice look at her head sculpt. This is honestly where I see the most departure from a Cyberverse design. It was just a bit of a shame. I actually do prefer that Cyberverse head sculpt, but on its own this doesn't look bad at all. This does look like Windblade, and thus it looks really great. I absolutely love the silver paint apps here, and the little details are painted with absolute precision. I love it. I've really never been a fan of Windblade's robotic mouth thingy though, so if they're gonna go different from Cyberverse, that is one thing I kind of wish they would have abolished, but whatever. And taking a look along the rest of her body, she does look pretty good overall. Vibrant and appealing colors, and again I really love the build of her body, and these baby blue accents just make her paint job pop. I love it. And we also do get healthy heapings of silver paint on the shins, these turbines, her stomach, her face. It looks really good. Yeah, she looks good. She feels pretty great as well, actually. Elbows are the only things that are a bit loose, but it's not the most important thing in the world. But one thing that is quite important will be her posability. Her head is on a really good ball joint that makes her look up that far. Incredible for a flying character. Can look down that far. Little bit of pivot, and of course rotate side to side. Shoulders can rotate 360 if it wasn't blocked by these wings. Can move out that far. Elbow swivel. Single joint at the elbow. It really could have been double jointed, but oh well. Wrist swivels. Really appreciated on a sword wielding character. Waist rotation. Her hips can kick forward that far on a really tight hinge joint. Really wish it could be more, but I guess she can move it up this way and that starts to look weird. She can of course do the slits. Her thigh swivels are a bit annoying in that it can't swivel this way, it can only swivel outwards, so Single joint at the knee, but it can bend further if you detach the transformation joint. Doesn't look the best, but from certain angles it looks fine, I guess. Her ankles move down, but it is blocked by this thruster, and that's kind of dumb, but you can move these wings to accommodate that, and that's not too bad. Really good obligatory ankle pivot. And finally, for her wings, if you move the backpack out of the way, they can move back all the way like that. Move it all the way upwards, and her turbine swivel. Lovely. Posability isn't as much as I wanted for this type of character, but for what you get, you can still get her in a lot of awesome poses, especially with that amazing wing posability. And something about this figure just seems so satisfying to hold. I really like this figure. And I really don't know why, but I feel like a part that makes her feel good would be her size. Comparisons? Here's Windblade next to, because I'll compare their jet modes, Dirge, her rival from the IDW comics, Starscream, another fembot, the 86RC, and they look great together. Comparing her to a regular 6-inch scale figure, we have the Marvel Legends Mr. Knight, and finally, her rival in Transformers Cyberverse, the Legacy Evolution Bludgeon. You have no idea how much fun I had posing these two with each other. Oh, they look so good! Although their rivalry in Cyberverse feels kind of forced. This is for Slipstream. So that was her robot mode. Pretty good, wasn't she? Well, believe me that when we go to the transformation, she only gets better. And after a fun and simple transformation process, here we have Windblade in her jet mode, and I gotta say, this jet mode looks slick. It's definitely one of my favorite jet modes that I have, which isn't really saying much. I really don't have that many jet formers. Really, it's only this, Dirge, Blitzwing, and Starscream, and another figure that I'll talk about it another day. Taking a nice close look at her jet mode here. It doesn't really look quite like a realistic jet, but it's not trying to, and that's absolutely fine as a part of this figure's appeal. But the jet just feels really nice to hold and whoosh around like a madman. And if you look closely, you can even see some seats sculpted in. Oh, come on. You can see some seats sculpted into the cockpit, and I think that's a really cool attention to detail. The side profile is pretty good. The undercarriage is not too bad, save for the visible hand syndrome. And you do get a retractable landing gear, so if you want to fly this, if you want to fly this figure around, there you go, just retract that and woo! And another thing that makes this jet mode special would be the weapon storage. You just want to split her legs, which doesn't sound bad out of context at all. And you can kind of see a port there. It's a bit difficult to show. Plug it right in there. Close back her legs, and now the sword becomes a type of blast effect, which is so clever in my opinion. From some angles it does look a bit wonky, but from others it really looks like a blast effect coming out of her thrusters. But if you want to plug in genuine blast effects, her thrusters do have a port, so something like this flame effect would go in really nicely. Yeah, that doesn't look too bad. As far as quote-unquote articulation for this mode, the tail fins can hinge up and down if you want to. I don't know why you'd want to. And the turbines can be rotated so that she can swoop in right into the size comparison segment. Here she is, Dirge. Thing actually looks pretty good until you look at it from the side. And here she is next to the Siege Starscream, RC, Mr. Knight, and finally, Bludgeon. And for this video, why don't I bring back the Strike a Pose segment. Let's start off a bit low-key and do a sort of, I don't know, walking with a sword on her hips pose. Yeah, that was pretty simple. Can she stand like this? Yeah, she stands. That's cool. Now let's try a dynamic sword slashing pose. Not too bad. If you have a flight stand, it'd be even better. And finally, let's do a classic sword in the ground pose. And damn, cool. And I think there goes my review for the Transformers Legacy United Deluxe Class Cyberverse Universe Windblade. Overall, this figure was an absolute blast to play with. Posability can be a bit limited sometimes, but with that sword, man, can you get her into a lot of poses. Highly recommend this figure if you are a fan of the character, or if you just want a fun figure to mess around with, honestly. Solidity is good, transformation is fun, weapons fun, everything about this figure is just fun. Sure, it's not 100% accurate to the Cyberverse Windblade design, but it's still Windblade, just not that accurate to the Cyberverse counterpart. Awesome figure. I really like this thing, and I hope you all like my review as well and would recommend it to everyone else. If you enjoyed it, please do leave a like and a comment. Don't forget to subscribe. Hopefully I will see you all next time. Ha!